Welcome back, Benchwarmers. Football is around the corner, and I'm so dang excited.
Preseason is underway, and while the first real game isn't until September 4th, we thought we'd start talking about it.
Yeah, I literally couldn't wait any longer to get back into the pigskin. So we're gonna have like a little mini series here where we predict how each division will unfold.
Let's get to it. I'm Corey, Dan Marino fan.
I'm Brendan, former Pats fan, and this is RV from the Bench. Before we get started, if not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see here, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it for us. Come on, it's free. It's free for you. It's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
Oh, it's the best. It's the most wonderful time. I know that you're supposed to say that for Christmas, but Christmas comes in fall for me. That's for sure. So, super stoked, bro. Excited to kind of break down, some divisions here. We're gonna do just one. We're not gonna do all 8 in one video. We're gonna make 8 separate videos, so it's a little bit more digestible, you can say. And if you weren't able to tell by the intros, you can probably understand where we're starting.
Yeah, the AFC East. Well, I think the biggest thing is we didn't want to start in the team divisions of our own teams because we know we're going to pick them to be near the bottom. So let's stay away from there first. Let's start with a division that pretty much everyone, I think, has at least the same division winner. But the bottom 3 teams from there are very tops and kind of toss-ups. So that's where we're going to start is the AFC East. So how do we want to go about this? You want to go one by one from 4 to 1? You want to list your 4? I do my 4.
Let's do the 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, like maybe something like that. Obviously, once we get to 2, you'll know who's won, and most people who pay attention to football really already know who's won, at least in this division. But yeah, we can do that. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so you start us off, sir. Who do you have at the bottom of the AFC East come January?
This was, to be honest with you, this was kind of hard. I know it's kind of like not fun to pick, like, okay, who's going to come in last? Let's see. This is really difficult to kind of figure it out. Obviously, it's not as fun to kind of do that, but this was definitely the hardest part for me. And unfortunately, I have it being, don't tell your dad. I have it being the Dolphins, man. I just don't think that this team has kind of run out of of juice, I guess you can call it. I think they're pretty bad even when Tua plays. And since he's even worse when he doesn't play because he's hurt, unfortunately, at least a little bit every year. It's just it's not doing great. They did make a trade. They traded Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. And I personally think that Minkah Fitzpatrick is a little bit better than the old Jalen Ramsey. Not the old Jalen Ramsey, unold Jalen Ramsey. The old Jalen Ramsey, like Rams Jalen Ramsey and prior, was very, very good. So I'm not knocking Jalen, but just with the age, he's gone a little bit downhill. So I think Mika's better. But changing one defensive player on your team isn't really going to make or break much. And you had to throw Jonnu Smith in the mix, which is, great for Aaron Rodgers, but it's not so great for Tua. That's kind of one of his like little safety blankets and a very big target for him. So the last piece that I think that's kind of done is Tyreek's going to be unhappy fairly quickly. He's used to winning Super Bowls, at least being on winning teams. I know he left that for the comfort of $200+ million, but eventually he kind of is probably going to be a little bit unhappy. He's already questioning stuff. I've heard him talking about how he doesn't understand why Devon Achan's in on 3rd down. He's not a 3rd down back. So he's already questioned the coaches before the season even started. And I just don't think it's looking good for the Dolphins. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I mean, I can't really say I argue with you. Now, looking at my 4th place, I kind of debated between the Dolphins and who I ultimately went with, and that is the Jets. Now, I agree with a lot of the points you made with the Dolphins. I'll leave that for my 3rd place pick when we get there. But as far as the Jets are concerned, it's Fields who's still trying to figure things out. Obviously, it's a new start for like the 8th time for him. It seems like in the last 4 years he's been in the league. And you have a rookie head coach in Aaron Glenn, which I think Aaron Glenn's going to be a great coach. He's a former defensive player. He had Detroit playing really well. Now they don't have the same personnel, obviously, in New York, but I think just from a team perspective, he will make them better as a whole, which has me feeling that even if they're going to end up in last in this division, I still think them and the Dolphins go back and forth.
True. It could be a game, dude. You know what I mean?
The Jets could win 5, Dolphins could win 6. Like, I don't have them necessarily super far apart, which is why I went back and forth. But I ultimately think that the Jets are in a learning curve with a new coaching staff and a new system and a new quarterback, so they might just struggle a little more. And even the wins they get might come late in the year. They might start off 1-7, but win like 4 of their last 5 because they might start figuring things out by then. So I have the Jets at the bottom, but I think ultimately, in a weird way, I think the Jets of the 3 other teams in the division, not including the Bills, obviously, have the best trajectory moving forward, maybe?
Okay. Yeah. Besides the Bills, yes, I'll give you that. Yeah.
But again, it's early.
True, very true. Yeah, so those are valid points, and which is kind of one of the reasons why some of those points are so valid. Is the reason why I have the Jets coming in third in this division. I do think Aaron Glenn is a really good coach, and the team was already really good defensively. Sauce Gardner in the back, and I can't Quinion William Quinn.
Yeah, the guy who sneezed and then blessed himself. Right?
Bless me, dude. I love that kid. I think he's so good. He seems like super humble, and he's like insane on the football field.
Yeah.
So I think the defense is really what's going to hold them up. I really hate to keep making Steeler comparisons, but to me, this is like Steelers Browns. Like they're not necessarily the best two teams, but there's something about the consistency of the defense of the Steelers, and I think that Aaron Glenn's going to kind of have that with the Jets. That's kind of why I have them in third. Last year, they were third in points allowed. I'm sorry, in yards allowed. However, they were 20th in points allowed. So somehow they didn't let people. Maybe it's because constant offensive turnovers had short fields, so that's why yards weren't bad, but the points were constantly there. I think that he might be able to kind of fix that portion. They were 7th in rushing yards allowed and 5th in passing yards allowed. So they're a top 10 defense overall besides the points part. I'm thinking that Aaron Glenn might be having a little bit better of a scheme to kind of help them with that. Not that Robert Saleh wasn't a good defensive mind. He's back with the Niners, but he had so many other things to worry about as the actual main head coach. He didn't really get too much time, in my opinion, to probably focus on the defensive end.
Yeah, and no Aaron Rodgers there helps Aaron Glenn too, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, very true. He gets to not worry about what the heck's going on offense and having to have some random offensive coordinator just because he's friends with Aaron Rodgers. So, he actually got to pick his staff this time, so that's nice. You mentioned Justin Fields. I think he's okay. His stats are probably better than his win-loss, but kind of to your point and why I think maybe last place is a possibility is he's kind of a little bit hurt right now. I don't know how serious it is, so we'll have to see how quickly he can come back from the injury. It's not like season ending at all, but it might be like a game or two, which starting 0-2 is a lot different than starting 2-0 or 1-1 even. So getting off on a bad foot might not be it, but Jets in third for me. So it looks like we flip-flopped there.
Yep, we did. And my reasons are almost the same as yours for the Dolphins. Like, I just think at this point, the Mike McDaniels experiment has come and gone. I think his voice is not sticking anymore. I don't think anybody's listening. I think if they get off to a really bad start, 1-4, 1-5, he'll get fired. And then at that point, if you're the Dolphins, are you not playing for anything? Because there's this whole, Arch Manning could be a Heisman candidate and come out. And if you're the Mannings, you know that they're going to control where he ends up. And I don't think they'd be against the Miami Dolphins. He's definitely not going to go to
as long as McDaniels isn't there.
Well, that's true, but it's not going to be the Chargers. If somebody, and as cool as it would be for him to go to the Saints, I don't think that's going to happen either. But regardless, the Dolphins,
they're going to be really bad, so it's a possibility.
They could be, but the Dolphins are just in this weird place where, like you mentioned, Tyreek Hill's like at a point, like, all right, I got all my money, but I haven't won shit since I got here. When we've gotten worse each year that I've been here, he's had his own issues off the field, which I'm sure is not helping his whole situation and his way of wanting to win even more. And I'm with you on Tua. Like, Tua's great when he plays. And then they traded Jonas Smith, so now he's got no security blanket, as you mentioned, as tight ends, which is what quarterbacks that are younger especially tend to do. And as great as the running back is, it ain't changed something, but if they don't have any defense to stop anybody, they're going to end up giving up a bunch of points. And again, Tua, just the health concern, there's just a lot of question marks there. And like I said, if they get off to a rough start, they could fire McDaniels, and then it's all downhill from there. So I debated them 3rd and 4th with the Jets, but for some reason, I just think Tua gets you maybe 1 or 2 more wins that Fields doesn't get you for the Jets.
McDaniels was fun at the beginning. He had a lot of funny, quirky comments, and you could hear like quotes on the sideline when mic'd up, him and Tua going back and forth. Yeah, he's a funny dude, but I think winning is what ultimately gets it off, and eventually that attitude gets more annoying than it is fun when you're constantly under 500. Yeah.
Does, in a weird way, I know they're not the same, but kind of quirky same, are him and I can't think of his name on top of my head. The guy who coaches the Lions. Why am I totally blanking?
Dan Campbell.
Are they the same person? Just 2 different type of personalities,
2 different versions,
and weird, and got everybody to buy in early, but now it's kind of run its course, and maybe we're at
I hope not. I know you're super down on the Lions. We'll get to the NFC North obviously sometime soon, but the only thing that I think is Dan Campbell's a lot more serious. I think that he's quirky and weird, but McDaniels just seems like a jokester constantly. Yeah. So I think that's kind of, but I would give you they're along the same avenue, maybe in different lanes.
There we go. That's probably the better way to describe it. Okay, so we flip-flopped 3rd and 4th. Who
I
did we
think we
put
probably
because we all know who we think we picked first.
Exactly. So I obviously it's the Patriots. I think they're going to make a big jump this year. They weren't very good last year, but and I feel bad for blaming it on Gerard. I was gonna say OJ Mayo. No, wrong. No, Gerard Mayo. Thank you. Sorry, not brothers. I don't think so. I feel bad for blaming it all on Gerard Mayo. He was just kind of thrust into a really, really bad situation, taking over for a legacy coach, and also at the same time losing. You know, it's been a couple of years, but losing Tom Brady, so you don't have that consistency there. Luckily for the Patriots, Robert Kraft is not like Jerry Jones, so this turnaround could be somewhat quick. And obviously, the addition of Mike Vrabel is huge. Drake May, I think, is going to take a big step up. He didn't look bad at all last year in a pretty dysfunctional team. So I think the Patriots are going to be able to. Now, granted, they may only be a couple games above, in my opinion, the Jets, or in your opinion, the Dolphins. I don't think either of these teams is really close to touching the Bills, but I do think the Patriots take second, and it sounds like you're there too.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for me is it's Vrabel. Vrabel's a winning coach. Like when he came to Tennessee, I was like, oh, okay, I'm excited about him because as a Titans fan, obviously, I was happy. But then he was able to turn around so quickly and not a lot of big names. Like, Derrick Henry, but beyond that, like Ryan Tannehill, who would have thought they would have taken them to an AFC title game?
Running backs aren't like the game changer to your point.
No,
you're not like, oh my gosh, we got here we go. This is everything. Yeah.
And if you look at the receiving core we had, it was average. It wasn't anything great, but Vrabel being a former Super Bowl champion and defensive-minded guy, not a coaching tree person from Belichick. He never coached under him.
So he just played for him. Correct.
Exactly. Because people always say, oh, well, Belichick has Vrabel. No, that's not his tree. That doesn't count. But Vrabel did a great job in Tennessee. And honestly, when he left, I wasn't happy with it, but I understood at the time. Again, it's one of those, I think the voice has kind of run its course. The guys that were there that were for him have come and gone, and the A.J. Brown trade totally ruined his opinion on the team and the organization, so that was a whole other thing. But I think the Patriots, as you mentioned, Drake May was pretty good last year. Not terrible, but nothing. I mean, I'm not going to say he's the top 10 or even 15 in the league, but
no, not yet.
He's not the bottom 5, so
agree.
We're in a good spot there. I think there's no expectation for the Patriots to make the playoffs, but I think there's expectations to not be shitty like they have been the last couple of years post Tom Brady era. So if they can get 8 wins and get in 8, maybe 9 wins and get into second place, I think that's something they can build onto in the future, unless Josh Allen and the Bills completely fall apart and then it's the Patriots division to run. But I just don't think we're there yet. I think
not yet.
Bills are going to run it for a couple more years, but then the Patriots might be the next team of the decade for the AFC East.
I could see that. I mean, he did win MVP, not, Allen, obviously.
Yeah.
So, which leads us then obviously to both of our first place teams. I literally have one note, not one note, one word on my notes for the Bills winning the division, and it is duh.
I mean, mine was it's their division to lose, so mine was a little longer, but it's kind of the same thing.
Kind of the same thing. Yeah, pretty much.
Like I said, unless Allen gets injured in week 2 and can't play the rest of the year. Yeah, no, I'm not wishing any of this. I'm just saying that's the only way I'm not picking or expecting the Bills to win win the AFC East. Now, I did see this video today. I know this is kind of sidetracked, but it's kind of funny. This lady was saying, hey, if you had 30 years of data that said it snowed every year in Alaska, would you bet everything you have on it to snow this year? And the guy was like, yeah, if I got 30 years of data. She's like, so if I have 30 years of data that said the Cowboys can't win a Super Bowl, what makes you think this year? So this just makes me think, like, if it's the Bills' year to win the Super Bowl because this history is telling me the last couple of years it's theirs, I think the history is going to repeat itself. It's Bills' division to win.
Division, yeah, I agree. They're too stacked. A lot of people had them even taking a step back last year because the weaponry, the loss of Stephon Diggs, and he's only got who knows who, a couple tight ends and the rookie receiver and yada yada, and he won MVP. So I mean, he's not taking any steps back. The problem actually for the Bills isn't the regular season at all. They're actually really good in the regular season, and Sean McDermott's defense is really good in the regular season. It's the fact that they give up over 30 points a game when it comes playoff time. Now, Josh can do his best, but that's when he's playing the best teams in football, and they all have pretty good defenses. When yours is I think they average like giving up 15 to 17 during the regular season, and it jumps to 30 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's just not a way to continue. But we're not talking about anything more than division champs this time in this video, and it's going to be the Buffalo Bills again in 2025. Again, barring a Josh Allen injury, pretty much it.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing. I don't, unless their entire offensive line disappears and he has no one to block for him every play too. I guess that's the only other way.
Pretty much. That was kind of an easy one. So let us know in the comments below how you see the AFC East unfolding.
or hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at RVUFTB and tell us why we're right or why we're wrong. Come on, we all know the Bills are going to win this division, right?
Yeah, that one's the easy one. But if you got arguments for the bottom teams, let us know why. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Thank you as always for thinking from our view from the bench. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
This was a Sycamore Fourth Studios production.